I would love, Justin, if you and Jewel could come up. Today we are honoring Father Justin's commencement, which will happen next Sunday at this hour. And I really wanted Jewel to join Justin here. You know, this is a family of doctors. How about that? They each have a PhD in theology, a PhD in philosophy. Do not come to them with health issues, though. They're not that kind of doctor. We welcome also, Justin, your family in Tennessee, your sister and brother-in-law in the Dakotas out there, and in the Communion of Saints, we welcome Ann Richards, who was a great impact on your life. And if Bishop Grind could be here, I know he would be beaming with his mitre on. You have come to us, many of you have heard, Justin came to us by an act of God as far as I'm concerned. I, of course, was late, and so we didn't have a seminarian coming, and I called up the assistant at the Berkeley Divinity School, and I said, I need your best student who somehow is off track like this rector, and I need you to send him to me now. Do you have one of those? She said, yes, and you're going to love him. His name is Justin Crisp. And that's why I believe the Lord has brought you to us. And you came, sat near by the Schweitzers your first Sunday in your narrow tie. As I looked at you, you managed to graduate from the Yale Divinity School with incredible honors. You were brought into the doctoral program at Yale, which nobody can get into, and in your year, the only student in the theology department of Yale, and that alone an extraordinary thing. In the process, you were ordained a deacon, and then ordained a priest here, and then later married here 5 years ago next week. You started off as a part-time priest, and you commuted from New Haven to us, and you brought your gifts all the way from New Haven. And when I said we needed full-time clergy, you shocked me by saying that you wanted to be one of them here, and words that were running through my mind which cannot be repeated on this stream. And now you're a full-time priest, a theologian in residence, and a literally resident on our turf. You have, when you're graduated, I can say some things that he cannot tell you. He graduated with distinction from his program, and I will say no surprise to any of us, and all of us, that the truth of that. But he will not say this to you, but his dissertation was what received distinction, not just his studies. I once said something to the dean of the Berkeley Divinity School about Justin, and I said, well, you know, he's a lot smarter than I am. And he said, well, don't feel bad, he's smarter than I am too. But with your dissertation, where you had towering theologians as those who were reading it and passing judgment upon it, they said that your dissertation was breaking new ground, which is not easily done in a dissertation, and also immediately worthy of a book. And so we all look really forward to reading that book. Now, in honor of this, we have gotten a very special gift for you. It took a little while to get it, but it finally has arrived. And I would like to read the back of it, and I'm going to hide it from you. Sorry for all the paper, everybody, here. I was doing the best I could with the holy bubble wrap earlier during your sermon. It was a little bit awkward, let me just say that. This is what it says on the back of your gift. Justin, this icon was commissioned and written just for you to honor you and your doctorate in theology on the occasion of your commencement. It comes with love, gratitude, and prayers from the people of St. Mark's Episcopal Church in New Canaan, Connecticut. It is an icon written to you by Christine Hales, and it was just done and finished about a month ago. So Justin, this comes with love and prayers and gratitude, particularly for you. So I'll let you take the top of that off.
So it's an icon of St. John of the Cross and St. Teresa of Avila, about whom I wrote my dissertation. And the quotation that Jules just told me that she wrote at the bottom is, "Blessed be such a death that so makes one live." It's just gorgeous. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a very meaningful gift to me in part. I'm going to try to keep it together because these two people, these two saints, I did not come to St. Mark's loving them. I didn't know who they were. It was a love for them that I caught from being a Christian here, and also, just to be frank, which I caught from Father Peter. And then I ended up writing the last chapter of my dissertation about Teresa of Avila, and about why she solved all of the problems that I talked about in the foregoing 3 chapters. You know, every theologian is resident somewhere, and I count myself very blessed to be in residence here and to be a resident in a parish. You know, the most. Why don't you come here? The thing that I most cherish in my priesthood is being your pastor. There's nothing that I love more. It's why I wanted to move here. It's why I went to Peter's office and said I want one of those jobs. The work that I do that a few people see, but most of you do not when I'm reading and writing and that kind of thing, it is in your honor, and it is born from you, even my crazy dissertation. So I wrote my dissertation on the theology of sexuality, which was not my attempt to be particularly revolutionary or transgressive, but it was an attempt to answer what was for me the most difficult and pressing pastoral problem of my childhood, growing up as an evangelical in what you might have read in some editorials recently. It was known as purity culture. And then when I was confirmed as an Episcopalian in undergrad, the Episcopal Church, your church, was coming apart at the seams over same-sex marriage. And so I tried to write a dissertation that was just about what sex was, regardless of who's having it. Sorry, I hope that's appropriate, rated G for the stream. You know, that's what I was attempting to do, to move the conversation into a different place, to say, you know, if we can move beyond the fight over who ought to be doing what with whom, can we focus on the beauty and loveliness and the meaning of the thing which we're actually doing? And I have an idea for a second book, which came out of the pandemic. It came out of my ministry here. I came up with the idea in March of last year, and I taught it to God, Grace, and Gumption. You know, and I see so many of you who are in God, Grace, and Gumption at different times here. It's a book on the theology of providence and the problem of suffering. And how is God involved in all of the losses and the trials which we're commending to God today? And I'm writing it because of what we have been through together and what we will continue to go through together. And then I even have an idea for a third project, probably not a book. I was talking to Jill about it earlier this week. A political theology of liberty that's inspired by the work I've been doing with Lisa Milland in the back on racism and enslavement, and the fact that, you know, you have these enslaved African people who are baptized and they say we ought to be freed because baptism gives us liberty. And then, you know, also amazing political conversations with you all about the role of the state in economics and your lives and so on. I'm inspired by you, and I write about you. I try to write to you, but, you know, it may or may not be comprehensible. There are so many people that I need to thank, and I'm going to forget them. But I do want to say a word, particularly to the vestry, for their support of me and their support of this position. It's not every parish that wants to give a full-time priest time to go up by themselves and read and write. And I think it is an important thing for the future of the church that there are spaces in the church and in the academy to do theology, because the university should not be the only place where it's done. So I'm really grateful to the support of the vestry for that, and particularly your senior warden, Stan Torty, who has given me incredible encouragement, personal encouragement when I needed it. Thanks to Reverend Elizabeth, who makes the most amazing partner in crime in all things church. We have an amazing staff. You know, Jill is one of my best friends, and she's sitting here back in her pew. Thanks to Father Peter, who agreed to let me do this crazy thing. You know, Peter, I have, to the extent that I know how to be a priest, I learned it from you and learned it from Anne. You two were the kinds of priests who I wanted to be, and you're why I'm here. And you're why I write. you're so much of why I write the theology that I do, such as it is, for better or worse. We love being here in this season of our lives and of priesthood. And we're just really excited for whatever adventures are still in store for us in pursuit of a God who, C.S. Lewis would say, is on the move at St. Mark's. Thank you.